Any questions? Yes.
Now, what happens if that a man and a... Okay, when you have a well, obviously there's a man and a woman that have to be on the team. So what happens if how are they going to work that out? Where, like, if Kathy's not the one that wins, or
even if Kathy is the one that wins. Okay, we have, like I said, one woman and two men running. So in our SD caucus, we will pick the person first that's going to be chairman of the party. And if we pick Kathy Adams, that means you have to have a man running in our caucus as the vice chairman, because there has to be a man and a woman. So if the first one is the chairman and she's a woman, you got to have a man. So that means that Robin wins. The way we have it looking right now, we have Tom Meckler and Melinda Fredericks running together. Tom Meckler is chairman. And we have Kathy Adams with Robin Armstrong, which is a woman and a man. So that's going to be interesting for all the SDs, because all the SDs then have to come to the floor. The count has to be made, and you may have 10 SDs for Tom Meckler, and you may have 21 for Kathy Adams. Well, that's okay. Depends on what happens in the other race. See? Because it could be, the woman could be 21, and the man, Robin Armstrong, only be 10. It's going to be really interesting when it gets to the floor for a fight. That's going to be a fight too. So we just have to be ready for all that. And it's going to take a while to do that on Saturday. I'm not trying to scare you away from that, but just it could take a while to get that resolved, because there's so much diversity in those offices right now. Now, when you get to the SD caucus, I will run first in our SD. So if I don't have a candidate, somebody running against me, that will be fine. And we'll have the committee woman run, and we have two candidates right now that I know of. One is Vicki Slayton from Dallas. She's one of the people that's involved with the Miss Texas pageant. She's been politically active for a number of years, and she's really a good person. She's very organized, very, very intelligent. We have Sharon Russell also, that had called me right after she got beat by Bob Deuel. Does everybody know about that race? Bob Deuel and Sharon Russell? Did anybody hear the comments that Sharon Russell made about Bob Deuel? I'm not going to repeat them.
During the campaign or after?
During the campaign. Godless heathen, one of them. Anyway, Bob Deuel is not godless. I like Sharon Russell. I have a problem with the language she used. I have a problem with the fact that, you know, she couldn't have a clean, good campaign. She got 30% of the vote, I think, or close to it. So, but she's running against. She'll probably be running against Vicki Slayton. And I'm just giving you an idea who the people are. Yes, Pat.
So the mechanics here. So the general session starts on Friday at noon. Is that correct? The general?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the first official thing that takes place for all of us delegates?
Yes, but there's nothing going on as far as official, and that won't be going on until the second day, because the permanent organization committee has got to pick the chairman of the party, of the convention.
So what goes on then all day Friday on the convention floor from noon until whenever?
Why's that doing that? Oh, feedback? Okay. The only thing that happens is there's going to be a lot of speeches. What were you saying? Oh, the caucus, yeah. But on the floor he was talking about.
Oh, okay, so us 14 delegates, do we all sit together at the convention floor?
Yes.
Is there an assigned place for us, I assume?
Yes, and Donnie will let you know who's going to be seated and who's not going to be seated. This is your man in charge right here.
Oh, okay, but that's all predetermined where we physically sit.
Yes, that's been determined by the convention staff. That will be taken care of.
Okay.
Well, it's pretty much the Senate district is planned.
Yeah, yeah. Senate district is planned.
Voting is on Friday?
There's no voting on Friday.
Except at the
Except in the caucus, yeah. But now, you're talking about on the floor? You're just talking about on the floor? Yeah. Yeah.
I assume that's what I am supposed to show up and do, is be on the floor.
And report to Donnie. Or you're a delegate, right? So all delegates will be seated unless there's somebody not there, somebody doesn't show up, then he'll go to the alternates. He'll have to replace them on the floor in case something does happen.
So it starts at noon. When is it open?
That goes on until about 4 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken.
So it doesn't drag on and on and on.
No, not that day. It's not Saturday yet. And I don't really think it's got a time. It just says 4 p.m. And the next thing that happens, it says on here is Republican Party of Texas Banquet, and this came off the website, so it's 7 p.m. to that. But there's other things going on, naturally. And if you guys want to go to the trade shows, you're right next door, those booths and things, you can do that.
What official business I'm supposed to be involved in?
Listening to politicians talk. Donnie.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like on Friday, we got the senatorial district caucus at 4 p.m. That'd be important that we be there, wouldn't it? Okay, so we'd need to attend that Friday afternoon, 4 p.m. And then the next morning at 9 a.m., we definitely need to attend that. That's when we will vote for you guys, as well as, if I'm understanding you right, we in that Senate district will decide who we want to be chairman and vice chairman. Then, when it gets on the floor, there will be, how many districts are there?
31.
31. So there's 31 votes then out there, right?
Right.
And they start, whoever is representing us on the floor will cast a vote.
Right.
What happens if, well, they're running it, so I mean, they're running as teams, man and woman, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Well, is there?
Right now.
Well, if it doesn't gel out there, do we go back into caucus then?
No.
To vote, or
No.
how does it work?
Everything will be handled on the floor. And like I said, that's when it could get kind of tough, because that's when and those things, this has not happened before in this manner. So as far as experience in all of this, I haven't got a whole lot of experience. But it's going to be determined on the floor. You don't go back to caucus. And we'll determine on the floor at one time. We'll do the chairman, and then once that's completed, we'll do the vice chairman. So.
One thing about it's Evelyn Hershey. One thing about the caucuses, and you're going to be voting on the chairman and the vice chairman, and in your 14, 12 of you are for Kathy Adams, and 2 of you aren't. On the same way as that, then when you all get together, all the counties that's in our senatorial district, then they add them up, and then when they give the vote, they will give X number for one and X number for the 2. And then when you get all of them together in his district, then it will come out, and when we go to the floor, they will still have X number for 1 and X number for 2, and whoever weighs the most is the one who'll get it.
Right, and when you do that, if you don't have, well, there's going to be people like Dallas County that has 100. Well, I'm not sure what it is this time, 110 maybe, but 125 say. And Dallas County at the last election cycle, when they went to the convention, they had probably 66 delegates instead of the 125. So they had basically 2 votes apiece. So yeah, it's going to be all weighted out, and you get all your votes, even if you haven't got enough people on the floor. You get all your votes. So, any other questions?
John, were you able to find out about if you have to have the 50% plus 1 to actually be the party chair?
Yes. 50 plus 1.
So there could be a runoff, so to speak.
Maybe. Unless Kathy gets all of it. Gets over 50%.